Hello and welcome to the Huddle. Liam Santamaria back with you. And as we motor towards the Blitz, we are on the home straight of the preseason coaches series. Just 3 to go. James Duncan, CJ Bruton, and Dean Vickerman. And today we're going to talk about basketball in Southeast Queensland for the upcoming season with my man JD. So as usual, sit back and relax because up next, James Duncan. JD, what's happening, mate? Good to see you.
My man, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. Welcome to the Huddle.
Appreciate it. Appreciate for having me on. Thank you.
You guys played last night in Ballarat. You play tomorrow night in Cranbourne, Casey Stadium. Where are you right now? You still in Ballarat?
No, we're at the Quest here in Melbourne, down at the Docklands, I believe. So I think a lot of teams know about this area. Pretty familiar, but very comfortable. So it's all good.
The New Zealand Breakers are very, very familiar with that spot.
Absolutely. Ross has been telling me about it. Like he walked in and it's like, what's going on? So like everybody knows him here. So he's pretty comfortable.
Nice. Hey, we're going to talk about that game last night. First sort of hit out in the preseason. You're going to try to keep the lid on things. I'm going to try to take it off, and we're going to have a bit of fun with that. Have you been taking in the coaches series, listening to the other coaches?
It's always interesting to hear what some of the other coaches are saying, and trying to get some insight to what they're thinking for the season and their team. And but to be honest with you, I've been really focused in on ourselves, to be honest with you.
Nice. All right. Well, because there's a lot to be focused on this upcoming season. But before we talk about this team and this season, tell me a bit about your off season. How did you fill your cup between last season and now?
I didn't, to be honest with you. I was home for about 5 weeks, and like during that time, I was on the phone with Sammy Mack. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., waking up, just conversating about the roster and what we're trying to do, and putting together a game plan. And so I would honestly say, like, I didn't really get a chance to just get away from basketball. And saying that my daughter was able to come visit me, spend some time with her. She's a 15 teenager. Papa is embarrassing. Breaks my heart. And then I was able to spend some time with my fiance. So it was good.
Outstanding.
In that sense. Yeah.
And by home, you're not talking North America, right? You're talking Germany.
Well, there's 2 different places. So home is Canada, not North America. Americans or Canadians are different. So I just want to clarify that.
Is that not part of North America?
I'm putting that out there. There's
Okay.
a difference between Canadians and Americans.
All right.
I'll just put that out there. But home is Munich, Germany. Yeah. And fiance German and my daughter's German. Yeah.
The beer halls.
Yeah. Oktoberfest is quite a sight, man. It's pretty good time. Dewdras and all that stuff.
Love it. And are you Scott Morrison's gone? Mikhail McIntosh is gone. Are you the last remaining Canadian in the league now?
I think potentially one of the last man standing right now, as far as I know. Maybe I got to do a little bit of research, but standing strong on my own right now.
All right, nice. All right, before we get to this season now, let's talk a little bit about your review of last season. You guys finished 7th in offensive rating, 9th ranked defensive team, which I know grinds your gears. When you and the coaching staff, Sammy Mack, the whole organization reviewed year 1 of your time in Brisbane, what did you come away with?
We identified certain areas that we needed to absolutely improve on, in terms of the roster, like players, and in terms of, for me, it was like, who's putting up their hand to sit down and guard and defend and take on that responsibility. And there's a lot of guys that say it, but at times they just don't want to do it, actually, because it's hard work. It's hard work to consistently sit down, defend, communicate, rebound, do all those things that are not shown on socials or Instagram, right? But are so valuable to teams and so valuable to winning. And so that was for me like a big like highlight for going into the season, like getting young guys that we want to develop, but also understand the importance of that so that we can add those young guys to the veteran groups that we had in terms of Sobes and Jason. Like we can talk about Baines and Tyler at another point, but I didn't know we were going to have them until about 6 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it was how we were putting together the roster wasn't thinking, oh, we're going to have Baines or Ty. It was just like, all right, we're going to be a young developing group. We want to make sure, I said to Sammy, look, give me 10% less talent, 25% more character. And that was a big thing for us to get like young guys with character and obviously talent, right? But like wanting to like be coached because to be honest with you, I was coaching effort last year, right? And like I hate to say it, but that's just the reality of it. And to this point, and it's early days, and I understand that, we all understand that. But I say for the last 4 or 5 weeks, I haven't had to coach effort. It's been unbelievable in how these guys get after it in the weight room, on court, post recovery. Like they attack that every single day, and yeah, that's what we're about. There's a culture shift here in Brisbane, and our standards are going up, obviously. And yeah, when you add an Aaron Baines to the group, things his quality stands for itself, what he does on the court, but off the court, it's been interesting because he wants to do things the right way, and he'll say that and he'll do it. And if you have a problem with it, let's go outside. You can handle it outside, right? So like, and I'm just saying in terms of like, you have to take like what he says very seriously.
Right.
And and he really believes in doing things the right way, and along with myself. And so we just want to make sure that we're doing this because we believe in this is going to help us have success for the season. And we're not taking shortcuts. And like, you're either on board or like for me, I'll speak for myself, like either on board or I don't want you here. Like go kick rocks. Like I don't want to deal with that. And we'll move on to somebody else that believes in what I'm trying to do.
That's the main reason I've been calling Bainesy a game changer for you guys. It's not the numbers that are going to appear on the box score. It's the influence on the culture, on the day-to-day. Can you give us like a practical example of a moment so far on the practice court or in the weight room or in the film room where he's spoken up and kind of put that in practice?
Well, he's always talking. Like his voice is always loud and making sure everybody knows what's going on. And that's what he's demanding all the time. So if you were to be in any of our practices right now, it's like, it's nonstop. And like talk, communication. And he does not stop. And at some point, the guys are like I can't curse on here, but they're just like, man, God, like either we start talking more, or he's just gonna keep on going at us.
Right.
Like he doesn't quit. And so there's a couple other examples that I don't want to get into, but like everybody understands like what he's about and what he's trying to do. And he's totally invested. Like he has a home in Brisbane, his family's here. Regardless of if he gets another opportunity in the NBA or stays here in Brisbane, like Brisbane is his home, and he wants to build something special here for the city and the fans and the members. Like he's totally committed to that.
That's cool. And he ticks so many boxes, I think, in terms of being able
100%.
to have that kind of influence, because physically He's a very imposing man, and that you can't, like if a guy's kind of 5 foot nothing and he's barking like that, it only has some kind of impact. But when you're the size of the big banger, and then you've combined that with everything that he's done in the NBA, the fact that he's been a part of that Boomers culture and that golden era of Boomers basketball for such a long time, but also for me, it's the fact that he's a shining example of making the most of what you could potentially become. Aaron Fern talks about him as a young man and saying, nobody has ever worked harder in my entire history in the game that I've seen than what Bainesy did right from the very get-go when I pulled him out of Mariba and got him involved with the Taipans.
The way he takes care of his body. So if you ever like stand up beside the man, it's like embarrassing for me, right? And like guys see what he's doing in the weight room. Guys see what he's eating and how he takes care of his body, and he's diligent in that. Being on time and just ready to, like, in terms of like vitamins or individual workouts, right? Like he's exhausted after the individual workout. We haven't even started team practice, right? And so if you see that as a young guy, a young player, like you have two choices. You can go one way or you can go the other way. And right now it's going his way and diving into like all the things that are going to make you a better basketball player. And it's exactly what you said. It's exactly what we needed. And then there's other guys now that are jumping on board in terms of using their voice and understanding how important it is to like prepare yourself for what's about to come.
I want to talk in a couple of minutes about all those guys, the Harry Frohlings, the DJ Mitchells, the Tanner Krebs, who were so great last night in your preseason hit out. But I wanted to stick on some of those bigger names for a moment. Tyler Johnson. What have been your sort of first impressions of him since he's arrived and got involved in preseason?
Gets after it defensively. Finding his legs, because he hasn't played so much in the last year, but finding his legs and trying to understand the NBL game in terms of like just spacing on the floor, right? Because there's not as much space, obviously, as in the NBA. Learning about his teammates. And I don't want to give away too much of what he does, but like very good in pick and rolls and understanding like the roll or the pop or the kick out. Also another guy taking care of his body. The thing that needs to get used to with me is like I have a European background in terms of how I coach.
Right.
So in the NBA, it's just like, there's some teams that are special, but like, mid pick and roll, side pick and roll, play out of that, attack, like some mismatches. I believe in that at some points a little bit, but I'm more of, move it, make other guys touch it a little bit, and then exploit the defenses but showing your skill set. Right. And I think as he's come in and as he's seen us practicing and as I've talked to him and I'm sure he saw last night, he's like, oh, I'm starting to, I get it. Like I'm starting to see it. I'm like, and so that's important for him to understand. And the one thing that happened early on, like I think it was like 2 practices in, and I think something had happened where he might not have had the best practice. And, we huddled up afterwards and he's like, nah, puts up his hands. I wasn't good enough. Like, I need to be better. Right. And I'm letting you guys know, like, I'm going to be better tomorrow. And you can count on that. And like he was that guy that we didn't have so much of last season.
Right.
Right. So you have now Aaron putting up his hands when he says that I need to be better. You have Tyler putting up his hand. You have Khadib putting up his hand. You like Stoves is still coming out. Like now you guys have we have a whole bunch of different guys putting up their hands saying that I need to be better. Instead of pointing the finger at other people, I need to be better. Other guys recognize that and they look themselves in the mirror and they say, like, we all need to be better. And now it's a trickle down effect instead of like, nah, you were terrible, or you were like, no, it's not about that. It's like, how can I improve myself and have everybody jump on board this boat and let's go.
Well, speaking of jumping on board that boat, a lot of people around the country are doing that with the Bullets right now. Yeah. When you sign Aaron Baines and then you sign a guy who averaged double digits in the association for multiple years, JD.
You're not Jedi mind tricking me.
I'm just saying, what ends up happening is there's a spotlight. We started it. We rocked out the first episode of NBL Overtime this week, and you know who was at the very top of the rundown to talk about was the guys in the blue and yellow in Southeast Queensland.
Yeah, you guys are not, you and Homicide and everybody, that you guys are not Jedi mind tricking me or us. I will say that we want what a lot of teams in this NBL comp have in terms of defensive identity, standard of character, just like a work-like way of doing things. We want that, and that's what we're striving for. And other teams are clearly from the last years at the top of the table, and we're striving to get there. And that's all that I'm thinking about, is like, how are we going to put ourselves in a position to get what these other teams have? And for me, when I first got this job, was it all starts on the defensive end. And this is the fourth season I'm going to be here, but the last 3 seasons, who've been the best teams in the comp?
The best defensive teams.
The best defensive rated teams. They're always the ones that are making finals. So if you can't understand that as a coach or as a player, then, like, I don't know, again, go kick rocks. And so this is what we're about. Jump on board and let's have a crack at it. And it's not going to be easy. And it's not supposed to be easy. And playing Melbourne last night and on Saturday is actually like really good for us, because we want what they have, which is a reputation of physical, hard-nosed, defensive-minded team that will get after you, will push you, will like all those things that produce winning. And so this is great for us, especially this young group, because they don't know. Most of those guys don't know. So like the coaching staff, we can all talk about it, you know? And sometimes it's like, yeah, coach, don't worry, man. I got this, man. And I'm like, no, you don't got this, right? You know, when they set a screen on you and you think it's an illegal screen, it's not you got to run through that, you know? When they're setting a pin down for Golding to do what he does, you better get up and in and chase him over that, because that's what he does. And so this is, for us, great learning and preparing ourselves for October 2nd and throughout the course of the season. And like, people can talk about wins and losses and everything. I'm not even really thinking about that. I truly not thinking about that. Like, I identified certain areas that we need to focus on. And I'm not saying what those areas are, but if we get to those areas and we're consistent in them, we'll have success.
Right.
And that's all, that's our only focus. Like, and plus in trying to enjoy this moment and enjoy the ride and learn about each other as a group. But we're diving into those things, laser focused. And obviously when Sobes and Baines and Ty and Harrison come back, they're going to jump on board as well. But that's all we're thinking about right now.
Okay, so I'm going to presume that some of those focuses are some key areas defensively, what you get done on the boards, and then ball movement specifically at the offensive end. And you would have liked, no doubt.
Do you have my notes? What's wrong?
You would have liked, no doubt, the fact that the guys that were on the floor last night did a lot of that at a really high level. And I think what I saw last night when you guys beat Melbourne United by nearly 30 without Sobey and without Baines, without TJ and without Harrison, was a team in your guys of guys who have been playing games week after week for the last 4 or 5 months, and a team on the other side who haven't predominantly been doing that, who are starting to ramp up. Are you enjoying the kind of the form and the fitness, and in some cases with Kadee and Krebs and DJ Mitchell, the chemistry that's coming out of the NBL 1 right now into your squad?
Try to answer that in different parts. The Tan, Kadee, and DJ, great time playing together on the Gold Coast with Peach coaching them down there. And I think it really helped DJ as he's come to Australia and get himself settled. Tanner, like pushing himself to do certain things at a higher level. And Jason being the orchestrator of that. And then also, to be honest with you, enjoying basketball again, because it was a tough season for him, especially with the injuries, and the weight was on his shoulders. So in terms of them playing together, great. In terms of what we've done, like last night's game was probably the 8th time where we played 5-on-5. Like we haven't really played it because we've had so many injuries, right? And so I'm not saying it was like a practice game, but it was like, that was like probably the 8th time where we actually played 5-on-5 as a group to get up and down, to work on certain things.
Can you bottle up the ball movement from last night?
I mean, I've been very, trying to choose my words carefully. Like we have a certain skill set with the group that is interesting, I'll say that. But I've been very demanding in what I want and expect, but showing them your skill set will benefit what we're trying to do. And last night, and again, like I'm not making too much about last night, but last night they got a little bit of taste of like, oh, okay, I see what he's talking about, and more believing in what we're trying to do. I think people don't know me well enough to understand. So just a little like, so when I was coaching in Germany, like in the BBL, the Bundesliga, and EuroLeague, like you had to move the ball, especially when like I was coaching in Bamberg and we were playing in the EuroLeague. So you're playing Cheska, you're playing all these different types of teams, and we don't have as much talent as those top teams because they have the bigger budget, right? So there's just more quality. So what you need to be able to manipulate the ball and manipulate the situation, and to make those better teams work a little bit harder, right? And I really believe in that. And in saying that, I also believe in showcasing players' skill set, right? And if you can add that together and people believe in it, then it becomes pretty scary. And again, it's early days, and I'll say this: it's early days, and it's preseason. Nothing counts. Nobody's going to remember this game on September 8th. Nobody's going to remember this game a month from now or 2 months from now. But we're trying to instill these habits in us now, and these pillars that guys understand, like win or lose, this is how we're going to play. Yep. And we can live with the results of that. And to this point, it's okay. And as I said, last night was a great kick out to get things started.
Yeah. And I'm surely it's great to just have that example in the bank now, to be able to say, look, guys, look at the open shots we generated throughout that game, and the easy finishes at the rim. And a lot of it was off moving our bodies and moving the ball and playing together.
It's Liam. It's like, it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to run and screen and maybe not always get rewarded in terms of looking on the box score, here's my points. Right. But we're not focused on that, and we're trying to make guys understand, like, just because you didn't get the assist on the score sheet, that's because of you. Like, that's what you did there is because of you. And if, like, 6 or 7 other guys or 8 other guys do the exact same thing. All right. Like, so for like, we need to get healthy.
Yep.
And then we need to stay healthy, which has been obviously a little bit frustrating in terms of when I came in last season and throughout the course of the year. We started off well, and then COVID hit us, and it's not an excuse, but something happened after COVID that we just couldn't rebound from. And then the injuries happened with Sobes and Ty that just we could not fully recover from. And, you know, there's some other stuff that was going on, but if we can get healthy and stay healthy, then, and buy into everything that the coaching staff is saying, then it'll be interesting for us.
What's the quick update on all those guys? TJ last night, just an illness, so that he'll be back pretty soon. But Sobes with the bone bruise in the knee, Harrison with the troublesome elbow from last season, Bainesy's ankle. Yeah, so TJ, a little bit of the flu, but like a little bit of a bug. Basically, the day that we were leaving, he hit me up at like 2 a.m. saying he's just throwing up and stuff like that. So we left him at home. He might end up coming out, but we could protect him and just wait for the blitz. Bainesy turned his ankle about a week ago, like maybe a week and a half ago. So we want to obviously protect him as he works his way back. Got to remember, they just haven't, like, he hasn't played since the Olympics as well, right? So we're just trying to manage him. Sobes hasn't played since January, bone bruise. He's now doing 5-0, but it's, again, like, it's going to take time for him to get back to his level. Like, you just don't come. Go ahead. Are you going to need to nurse him through the season? At the beginning of the season, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Like, you don't come back from that. Like, I think, like, he's such a competitor, right? And he wants to be back on the floor, and he's doing his rehab. It's just he's not the most patient person, Sobes. And so it's been hard for him. And like, when you've been off for that long, you just don't come back and you're Nathan Sobey again. It just takes a little bit of time. Right. So we'll manage him. Okay. And make sure that he comes along the right way. And Ty had elbow surgery, and he had a cyst in his arm. Right. And they removed that, and now he's feeling better, and now he's back on the court running. And so those guys are all, you know, pretty important for us. In saying that, like, it's a team, you know what I mean? And it's, people say it all the time, but like, I really believe in that. And at some point, one of these young guys are going to step up. They have to step up during the regular season, and it's going to come out of nowhere. And I'm excited for that. It's great to have Bainesy. It's great to have Sobey. It's great to have TJ. But you know what I'm just as excited about? Sorry, and it's great to have and Jason. But I'm more excited about, which we didn't do a good job of player development. Mm-hmm. Like, that's my background. Like, that's Tanner, DJ, Gak, Cody, Lou. I might be missing somebody, but I apologize for that. But like, all these guys, like, it's our job as a staff to develop these guys, and like, let's get some small wins. Let's try to get some guys, like, maybe for Rookie of the Year, maybe for Most Improved, maybe for Defensive Player of the Year. Like, if we're doing those things, they are becoming better basketball players. Obviously, they're helping us win games, and like, we're moving in the right direction as a whole. Yeah. The other guy there was Harry, who was so. And Harry, exactly. Yeah. You know, I apologize to Harry, but you got to, like, Harry's young, Tyrell's young. They're all young, you know, in their 20s, like, could explode to do certain things, and like, it's our job to develop them, and that's what I'm really excited about. All right, to finish up, man. Just forgetting all the hype and the whether the lid's on or the lid's off. There's no hype. There is hype. You are the one who's trying to hype things. There is no hype from us. All right, there's nothing. You guys, homicide. Like, I ain't hearing any of that. Okay, that's fine. You might not be hearing, but if a tree falls in the wood, JD, and you didn't hear it, that tree fell. I'm just letting you know. But forgetting all that, from your perspective, when the season's all wrapped up, what will you want to have achieved as a team?
First thing is the culture. Like I had a meeting at the end of the season with Sammy Mack. And it was pretty good meeting in terms of like just our different ideas. But ultimately, we both came to the conclusion that the culture needed to change. There had to be a shift, right? And so we've come up with the term the Bullets way. And there's certain things that, again, that we've identified that we want to be able to check off throughout the course of the season. And then at the end of the season saying we did things the right way in terms of off-court, promos, being on time for things, representing ourselves in the right way, just not whinging about certain stuff that it's just not acceptable in my eyes and in Sammy's eyes as well. In terms of winning wins and losses, again, like I want to be one of the, and it's hard to say because I don't even know when the Bullets have been that, but I want to be one of the better defensive teams in the league. And if we are that at the end of the season, I think, or I believe that we're going to have success. I don't know how much success, because I'm sure every other team's saying the exact same thing, right? But I want to be able to, at the end of the season, say we were in the top 4 defensively, top 5 defensively. And if we are, then okay, look out. Because I think over the years, and this is not a knock against anybody, just like over the years, I think Brisbane's has been more offensive minded, right? I want us to shift that like to defensive minded team, physical team, and then, add some offensive things here or there that makes things interesting. And we have the pieces to do that.
Good luck, man. You do have some pieces and you do have some big plans for this season, and good luck achieving exactly what you just laid out right then over the course of the year. We're going to enjoy taking the lid off the whole time and enjoying the ride.
I appreciate you. I appreciate the guys. We're not falling into that trap. I'm telling you that right now. And this is good for us. This in terms of like, playing Melbourne, and I have so much respect for Dino and what he's done over the years and how they approach the game. And, Saturday they're going to come out and they're going to come punch us in the mouth. And you know what? Great. Like, I love that. Like, because this is exactly what's going to happen in the season. And how do we handle that punch in the mouth? Do we fold? Are we like, all right, sweet. Like, this is what we have to do. We have to dive in more into what we've been talking about and continue to take the steps and not overreact to that. Not oh man, like, I need to go one-on-one more and get in my bag. I'm like, nah, mate, it's not about that. We just need to continue to lock into the small details. And I'm positive that we will do something special potentially.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks heaps for the chat. Been great to have you on. Appreciate
you, man. And I'm sure I'll see you around. Do me a favor. Stop talking about us, all right? Silent. We like to be behind the scenes and just doing our work.
All right. Cheers.
All right, man. Ciao.